Wally McFarland here at Utah State University with Bruce Gordon and Eco Flight. We're doing a flight this morning of the Lower White River. We're flying out of Rangeley, Colorado. We're going to cross the border to Utah and fly the riparian corridor of the White River. The White River is a beautiful river. It's a conservation river. It's one of the rare rivers in the West that is not heavily dammed. And so the hydrograph, the spring runoff, still occurs here. So what we're doing this morning is we're documenting the riparian corridor and in-stream habitat for endangered and threatened fish. So the intent of the work we're working on is we're developing a conservation and restoration plan for the Lower White. The BLM is funding the project. They're the primary landowner on the river. So see this bar right here?
Yeah.
It's covered with Russian olive. Russian olive have this distinct gray color. And what they've done over the last 20, 25 years here on the White River is they've really taken over. And their seeds are dispersed by birds, and they produce a really abundant amount of these seeds, and they're pretty low nutrition. And so the birds eat a lot of them, and then they pass through their system, and then the seeds are planted. And they can pretty much grow right on water's edge. And the problem with that is that over time it narrows the channel and simplifies it. So for fish habitat, fish want a lot of different water depths and velocity. And what this is doing for these threatened and endangered fish is it's reducing the habitat.
So two questions come to mind is, how'd they get here in the first place, and how do you get rid of them?
Yeah. So they were first introduced as a worthwhile tree for erosion control, and then also as an ornamental.
Ornamental, did you say?
So people have planted them in their yards. Yeah. And so one way we try to remove them is we try to focus on areas where there's cottonwoods. And so we get rid of them around the cottonwoods so they have a chance to reproduce.
So that the cottonwoods take over that territory?
Exactly. The cottonwoods are the native species around here. And so there's been a lot of good efforts from the Conservation Corps, which will hire students or young adults that'll come in. It's a brutal job. These trees have really nasty thorns. They'll go into these thickets and chainsaw them down.
So they have to dig them up?
They'll cut them down with chainsaws.
What about the roots?
Roots are still there.
So they'll come back?
Yeah, they can. They also do a girdle cut around the tree and keep them standing, and then put glyphosate, which is Roundup basically, in the core around there, and they'll kill the tree as well.
Wow, that's a big job.
Big job.
Who's taking that on? BLM, or they got volunteers?
Yeah, volunteers, BLM, and then they'll pay for technicians to do it.
Rangeley Airport, automated weather observation.
That flight we just did took probably a little over an hour. These flights are really key for us to capture this type of data. This is a great overview of the whole project area. When you're on the ground, you don't have this perspective. Thanks, Bruce, for the flight.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for the work you're doing.